tell us, what was your first commercial project like? How much you used to get back then and how much did you get?
2015 I was starting, and around that time, or even like a spot produced for TV,
Yeah.
we were charging around 800, maybe 1,000 for a full TV.
Oh my God,
Thing, yes.
that is very less.
Um,
Welcome everybody. Welcome to Podcast with Dimpy, where we dive into real conversation and real insights about mindset and business. Today we are speaking to Carrington, a creative video editor who has gone from freelancer to premium creator. Let's dive into his journey and explore how he has built his success. Welcome Carrington to this podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me, Dimpy. I'm very excited to be on the show today and talk with your audience, and yeah, share the journey that's gotten me from where I started to where I am today and to where I plan to grow to.
Yeah, I'm sure audience are going to love it, and audience will, really learn so much in this podcast. So stay tuned, people, till the end and learn what Carrington has for you. So, Carrington, can you share, little bit more about you? Though I've introduced little, about you. Can you tell about, how did you, start your career as a video editor, and what made you pick this? um, career? What was this passion about?
Yes. So for me, it started way back when I was younger, in my youth. I would say maybe 12, 13 years old.
Yeah.
I was always a very big reader. We didn't have
Amazing.
TV growing up, so I was reading lots of books. So I kind of fell in love with the journey of stories, the depth of stories. And as I got older, that translated into, watching film and movies. When I was younger, I enjoyed watching a lot of Hindi films. So,
Oh,
this is
amazing.
early 2000s time. I would say, so from 2000 to 2006 or 7, I was watching a lot of Hindi films. Um, but I've always been naturally more creative. I picked up music from a young age, playing music. And then I grabbed my dad's video camera. He had a video camera when I was younger. And I started filming little videos, with my action figures. And, then I got my friends involved and we started to take it more seriously. So as I developed this passion with, reading and telling stories and watching film and then making my own, that led to me studying marketing at university and college,
Oh,
and going on to starting my career in marketing. In 2015, I started. Um, Prior to that, I did a little bit of operations, some sales, to build a good groundwork of business for me. And 2015 was really when I got my first opportunity with a company. They, believed in me enough to give me the opportunity to run their marketing programs. I was writing copy for the company, directing videos, outreach in the community, networking, hiring people. So from there, I started to build short advertisements for TV and Facebook, things like that, 30-second videos. Then we expanded into more deep thought pieces. But it is a big journey, and it's not something that just happens overnight. You have to
absolutely.
find, what you love and start building a base for that, and you know, share that with people, build the confidence so they can, trust in you and believe in you to give you an opportunity, and you have, that to go ahead and prove you know what you're doing. So that's kind of the story of how I got into video and producing and marketing.
Amazing. Actually, when I was going through your profile, before reaching out to you, I checked that you spoke about ikigai, and now you're talking about passion. So how, so I think many of the people, they think that they are passionate about the subject. I had real big challenges in finding my passion. I thought I'm passionate in something, but when I used to dive in, I felt that I'm not passionate. I think you're a lucky soul, I will say, that who knew what you are good at or something. What do you say about that?
Yeah, maybe yes and no. So I knew this is what I wanted to do, and but maybe I didn't believe in myself enough in the beginning. So that's why the first 5, 6 years after school, I kind of tried different jobs and different things because I don't know. I didn't know if I had the confidence or the belief that, hey, I can make this. This is what I love. Do I need to go find a career, a job? Um, but changing that perspective and just like you said with Ikigai, it's learning about what you love and doing that and finding a path to how you can take what you love to the next level to where you can scale it as a business and get paid. So
Yeah.
yeah, if you know your passion early on, I would say definitely go after it. I took the long way in a sense
Okay.
because I didn't have the confidence in the beginning. So I had to understand why and build that. But yeah, some luck and some making mistakes to get to where I am. Yes.
Amazing, amazing, Carrington. So amazing. So, Carrington, can you tell us, what was your first commercial project like? How much you used to get back then? When you started.
Yeah.
What was the year did you started with, and how much did you get?
So then it was 2015. I was starting, and around that time, for even like a spot produced for TV,
Yeah.
it was charging around 800, maybe 1,000,
Oh,
um, for a full TV,
oh my God,
thing. Yes.
that is very less.
Um, so yes, for then, and we didn't really know at the time. You make something and it goes on. It can be made for TV and Facebook. Um, but as technology's increased and as creative skills increase, once you
Yeah.
dive into making film and editing and, like I said, telling the story, it's not a short process. You don't just record the video and throw it up. You have to
Yeah.
tell a story in the process. So as I developed those skills, I think as I became a better writer, as I became a better visual storyteller, I was much more confident at charging a higher price. And two, you have to be realistic about it. You have to look at your at the market for where you live, what people are charging, and then you also have to look at the client. I'm not going to um, necessarily overcharge someone. If there's someone who maybe can't afford something, I may say, "Hey, I'm willing to work with you because I believe in you. I want to see your story succeed." Because I remember what it was like being that
Yeah.
person who had
Amazing.
very little knowledge, very little budgeting, and you have to have someone believe in you. So I try to give that back to the world. Anyone that's believed in me, pass it on, believe in the next person, and
Wow.
have confidence in your
In India,
skills.
we call it as karma, that the more good you do, the more, good is going to come back to you, which is so beautiful. So,
Yes.
Carrington, what I understand from what you were just saying me, that creative video editing is not just about, video production. It is also about writing creatively, also about, talking to clients, communicating, how, finalizing the deal, sales, editing, production, isn't it? Or can you just list out the things which are actually involved in the entire process of completing maybe a ad film?
Yes. So from in the beginning, what I always do and what I learned from others is when I first started, I would hire people to come in and work with me on creatives. So they would always provide a free consultation, right? So you want to provide some value by giving away something for free in the beginning.
Yeah.
So I'm always willing to go and meet with my clients, or talk to them if it's out of state or out of the country or something. You need to find out what they're doing, what they want to do, and what they're not doing. So those are kind of the three things that I focus on in that conversation.
Mm.
I take a look at doing research on their website, their social medias, things like that, at other companies in the area, and say these are your main competitors. Um, so you go in and you ask them, hey, do you guys have an idea of something that you're wanting to accomplish, or is this a blank slate? If it's a blank slate, I come in and I start writing. I give them a few different options. These are some ideas I have that I think might work for your business. And then we pick one storyline or one type of direction we want to go in,
Yeah.
and we start to refine that process. So then I write the script for them. I'll come back, hey, does this good? Does this fit your voice? Because I never want to speak in a voice that's not from the customer's perspective.
Absolutely.
So we get that confirmed. Then I go into the filming process. We plan a day on our schedules where we're able to film. I ask them, do they want people from the company involved? Is it just the owner or founder? A lot of times it's beneficial to have employees or other people in the company you work with, and not just, the owner or founder kind of hogging the spotlight type of thing. So yeah, from there we kind of craft a story, whether it's going out with them on their jobs or following them around in a documentary style process. I collect as much of that footage as possible, and then I come back to the editing board and I make several different um, options, I guess, in the beginning. Maybe 30 seconds, I'll show them, hey, we can go this route, again, this route, because the writing is always different than the visual. So once those two match and they're able to see that vision for them and they see, yes, this, represents my company well, it communicates well, it's what I want to say to my clients, and it's captivating, then I know we're going in the right direction. So we finalize that up, and then we, obviously we'll go in and optimize it for certain platforms, TV, Facebook, Instagram Reels, however it's done. And then we publish it from there.
Yeah.
So it is very much a deep discovery process because
Amazing. So
I want to know.
finally, what I'm understanding in all this process, client satisfaction, what they want is more important, than what just comparing and giving just some, video idea.
Yes, absolutely. Because at the end of the day, we're all in the business of service. We're here to serve others, to help them grow, their business grow. So I find it's not about selling people on what I need or my services. It's selling them on them and their business and their passion, because I want the world to see them. And I think not enough people, whether it's confidence or budget or whatever it might be, they're not making enough video. They're not telling their story. Everyone should tell their story and document their story to the world.
Amazing. I do agree on this thing, that yes, everyone should have, in this today's time, especially where everything is digitalized, we should have a story which connects to the consumer, also your business, and definitely it can be one of the greatest resource by which you can increase the ROI of the business.
Absolutely. That's a part of my thing is, outside of video, my goal is to optimize the business and optimize the people in the business. So the better the people are, the better the business is, and the better both of those are together, you have no choice but to win, because everything is pushing forward. So
Yeah,
it's very important.
amazing. So, Carrington, in this journey of being a, premium video creator, ha have you seen ups, and you must have seen actually ups and downs, have you ever felt stuck in in this journey? And if you were stuck, then how did you come out of it? Because I think many freelancers might be watching this video, and there are many faces where they don't have clients, they don't get clients, they get clients or they lose clients. What will you like to say to them?
Yeah. So I think at this point, a very key part is like I said, the confidence. So having the confidence within yourself, you have to be happy with yourself first before you can make others happy. So
Amazing. Great
education
line.
is a big education is a big part of this for me. So I go and I learn from other people. One of my favorite books that deal on this topic is called "The Obstacle Is the Way." It's written by
Okay.
Ryan Holiday. He's an American author and philosopher. And this book, The Obstacle Is the Way, kind of shows you that the obstacles we face are actually opportunities for us to grow to become who we're supposed to be. And
Amazing.
by changing our reframing our mind, in a sense, to how we look at things, that's how we can overcome. So I did a lot of education in this area, just reading and consuming ways to get my mind right, to where I could build the courage and the discipline and the action to go out and do these things. Um, and then too, again, it goes all the way back to Ikigai. Like in the beginning, you have to, if you're not doing what you love, you're probably not going to be happy, and you're probably going to feel stuck. And that's how I felt a lot of times when I was working for companies after a while, because I knew there was something greater for me to do for myself and others. And I had to build that confidence with education and skills, to then go out and push myself there. So what I would say to people that feel stuck is build your confidence by building your skills. Just show up every day, stay learning, stay consuming things that are going to make you a better person and a better professional. And you will soon feel, all the chains come off. You won't feel stuck anymore. You'll start to, like, light bulbs just start popping up in your head all over.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I think you actually indirectly answered what was coming in my mind for the my next question was, that how people can charge premium, and the secret might lie in what you just told, which is building that confidence. We need to build the confidence. We need to, of course, learn the skills to charge premium. Or is there anything else which you'd like to add on to this answer, so that people
I,
start
I think that
ask charge premium to the clients?
Yeah, I think that that answers it in a sense, but yes, it is confidence comes from, like you said, showing up every day, the discipline, and having the skills. Because whenever we're scared to do something, all that tells us is that we're not experiencing it. We haven't experienced it in the past, and we need to push through that fear.
Yeah.
I wrote this down from that book, The Obstacle is the Way. It's one of the best quotes. It says, we are not born with courage or fear. Both are acquired through our habits and actions.
Wow.
So that
Habits and
quote
action.
really, really jumped out to me. And I wanted to share it because that quote specifically is what helped me kind of shift my thinking. Um, there's no reason for us to be scared of anything because it can all be built by what we do and how we view things. So that's why that book
Good.
for me was very key when I was feeling stuck. I think I read it in 2016, 2017 when it first came out. But that book has so much wisdom in there that I definitely recommend everyone to read it, no matter what you're doing.
Amazing. I will also like to go through these books. I love reading, mindset books, because sometimes I feel that people are not aware. We have so many blockages within which we are not aware, and that's why we are not able to portray ourselves as the most
Yes.
confident version or the best version of ourselves. Yeah, you said it well, right? So, Carrington, in your journey of being the premium video editor, have you ever met people or the clients you work with who are red flag or who are toxic in nature? And
Yeah,
how
yeah. I
did
mean,
you
everybody.
how did you deal with them? Or who
That's
are the
that's a
or
good.
who or I like to reframe my question as, who are red flags, whom we should not work. Once we understand, okay, these are the red flag clients, we should discontinue our service.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I love the question, and it's very helpful because everybody sees this in
Yeah.
every industry. For me, it's really two things: um, the communication, right? Lack of communication and expectations, right? Unrealistic expectations. They think just because you can come in and do something, they've seen other companies grow and do this. They say, "Oh, I need a million views. I want this. I need to hit this number," and they almost set unrealistic expectations on themselves.
Yeah.
Um, and I think part of that is because there's a disconnect, possibly in the business. As companies get bigger, the founder and the owner kind of loses sight of what's truly happening in the company. So without the proper communication, without them even being transparent about what is happening, what they're struggling with, then we can't help them. We can't work with them because we need to have a clear-cut goal for what you're struggling with, how our services can help you, and what you're willing to, commit to that. And I
Yeah.
think that's probably the biggest issue that I see is um, just not enough information is being communicated. People have to be on the same page, whether it's from
Yeah.
just a personal chemistry standpoint or even a creative standpoint. If there's not any of that happening, it's going to be a very big red flag. It's going to take a long time, and you're going to put in more effort than you get back making on the project. So you're essentially losing money because you're doing damage to yourself,
Yeah.
running around in circles trying to please these people who are not happy with themselves, like we went back to. So
Yeah,
those are the
amazing.
big red flags for me, because we work in a people business. We want to be with people who are communicating and have good personality and good ethics, which is probably the other thing,
Yeah.
is the business ethical. I don't want to work with anyone who is doing shady things in in any business. So
Yeah, absolutely. So communicating from the very beginning, what exactly is can you expect from this, and what is the exact deliverables? I think that can at least, clear communication in the beginning can help sort these issues. What I understand from this. Okay. So
yes.
yeah. So, Carrington, my next question to you, that you must have crossed across many founders, who they don't have big budgets, but they still want to, tell their story, and or they want to tell their story without burning out. So, how are you able to cater those founders or business which come to you, or you have there is a minimum budget which you need to get it started?
Well, I mean, I think it does. It kind of depends on the type of project, because I am willing to do smaller projects for people. But a lot of times, what I tell clients is to have the confidence to make some small content yourself, right? We all have, smartphones now. Technology is very good.
Yeah.
I don't want to discourage anyone from making their own personal content. It's just because I make video doesn't mean I want to come in and say, no, you can't do any video. I do it all for you.
Yeah.
I tell people they must do their own personalized video
Yeah.
documenting. Um, and then from the budget standpoint, as it gets into, this is more so with bigger companies, I would say, because they tend to only want to give so much funding for a project. So there's a couple good questions you ask them, that I wrote down. One, you ask them, can I ask you how the funding for this project was determined? Just so I understand better. And then they kind of open up and they tell you why they think this way, or why they put so much money towards this, or why not. Um, if they start to second guess themselves, then you go in with another question. Do you feel that the budget you have allocated towards this project is going to solve the problem for you? So then they start thinking, okay, maybe it's not, and maybe I'm not putting enough towards this, or maybe I'm underestimating
Yeah.
what needs to be put towards this. And then finally, if it's, bigger company and multiple people are making decisions, you're just going to ask them, you know, who else might be involved in the process, or what obstacles might you encounter when trying to get budget approved for this. And they just kind of tell you. If you ask them these good open-ended questions, they essentially start to dump all their
Open up.
information on you and open up more. And then you can understand, well, hey, maybe, okay, maybe this kind of a project is a little too big for them now. And you're able to shift your focus to, okay, well, let's start with maybe 2 or 3 short social media videos. If you like those, if they work, we can continue to work together, and we can work on a bigger project, which I then charge, X amount of dollars for. So it's getting them to understand their pain, and then showing and guiding them to how you can solve that, that hopefully fits into their framework. Sometimes if people say, hey, I can only do $200 and I want a, a minute long video, I can't really help you. I recommend, you probably
Yeah.
try to shoot it yourself, make a couple good versions, and as you expand, we can look at developing something more professional for you.
Lovely. I loved, I think what I'm getting from you, asking the right questions in the prospect call is the key, because then you can actually understand that what you can, tell them, or what is the scope of the work which they are thinking. So during the sales call, or during, the prospect call, I will say, you need to ask good questions to them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
And
Yeah,
I
the
and I see you
questions.
are quite good at it. Anyway, so my Carrington, my next question to you will be, because it's a AI world. In fact, I've seen so many people telling that, using AI, you can create videos, edit videos, and many other things, they are doing. So, have you been using AI to, in your work for creativity, or what is the scope of AI for future? Will AI take completely our work? What do you say on that?
Right. No, that's a great question, and I know everybody is thinking it in every world. I know, IT world, coding has been impacted
Yeah,
heavily by this. Customer service is gonna be impacted very much so next. Um, I think anything that involves people, well, and at a human aspect and emotional connection, like video and storytelling, there can always be a market for that. That's always going to be a necessity because it's the true human connection. So yes, it's seeing some of this stuff happen. Some industries are scared. I'm not, in a sense, because I'm learning to work with it and use it to my benefit without overdoing it. You go on LinkedIn and Twitter and you see, or X, and you see, people with posting stuff, and you can tell it's 100% generated by AI. They're putting
yeah, yeah,
no effort
absolutely.
into it. They just type, "Hey, make this," and boom, and they post it. Um, I use AI for researching and for draft writing, and then I go in and I customize everything. For researching, it's the best because who has the time, right, to do 2, 3,
That
4
is
months of
true. So
research?
true.
You can
Yeah.
now do this in a week, with very deep research. So I use it mostly for education and research, and then I use it to help me with drafting. So if I have an idea, a couple ideas, and I'm struggling with putting together a couple paragraphs, I'll write something, have it spit it out to me, and I look at it, I read it, and I start to change things because it has to sound like me, it has to sound like a person, and it has to read like a person. If it doesn't, it's very obvious that it's AI generated. And whether people like it or not, Google and LinkedIn and Facebook, all these places are going to start penalizing, and your posts are not going to get so many views like they used to because they're going to have internal scanning tools on the back end
Yeah.
to say, hey, this is all AI generated. So I think people should use AI because AI is not going to take everyone's job, but people using AI will. So if you're not using AI and you fall behind, that's a big problem. You
Yeah,
need to
that.
be using AI in some aspect because it can and will benefit you. It sped me up. I can up to 5, 10 times the amount of the research and writing process that used to take place. It's so much better for me now.
I agree on that. Definitely, there's no option actually in today's world where we don't upgrade in AI. So, Karen, my last, few question will be, in fact, in our pre-discussion, you were telling me, you have been to India multiple times, as I remember. I want to understand, what is that one thing which you really liked about India, or what is that one thing which you did not like so much?
Yeah, so I think that's a great question. I think the first one that I loved the most was I just love the beauty of the country. I think it's a very beautiful country. It's very there's so many different cultures within the country.
Yeah,
And I've got to see that with my grandparents coming from different, regions of the country. So um the natural beauty, I'm big on um community, and I love the way that in Indian culture, it's still held, that family is kind of the rock of everything. That's somewhat lost in American culture in a sense.
yeah.
So I love the traditions of India, the beauty of India. Um, of course, Taj Mahal is, one of the great wonders of the world. Everyone loves that. I was fortunate enough to go and see that. And that story, the background story to that again is something that is just so cool to me. Even though it's unfortunate what happened, it's
Yeah.
still a very, very good story. Um, and then I love Indian food. I eat Indian food probably once a week. My
Oh,
wife makes it
amazing.
here. There's a restaurant here in Phoenix I've been going to for probably 20 years since I was young. And I still see the same owner and
What's your
family. So
favorite
it's really,
food then in India? What is
um,
your favorite Indian food?
goodness. My so I hate to be really basic, but I would probably say chicken tikka masala, you know,
Okay.
garlic naan, basmati rice. Um,
Lovely.
those are my favorite. I do love the tandoori chicken as well. Some of the vegetables,
Yeah.
all the different vegetable potatoes and everything like that.
Nice.
So those are some of my favorite. And then as far as the one thing I say, I guess it wasn't that I didn't like it. It was just so different and chaotic for me compared to the American style. Is just the driving and the street regulations.
Oh God.
And I'm sure it's gotten again. I'm sure it's so much better now. I haven't been to India in
No, no.
it's
In
21
many
years.
cities, it's almost the same. It's crazy, in fact. But yes. Anyways, you cannot compare that with, I will say, US or out of India, because
Yeah,
the population is
it's so
so
different.
huge.
Yeah, it's so and that's the one we were just and I was younger, so I said, "Oh, that's crazy just how everyone honestly, most of the people there are good drivers, and you have to be because it's
Yeah.
just the way it is."
Yeah.
So that it's not that I didn't like it, it was just so different to me,
Yeah. I
than
get
because I
that.
learned to drive here, yeah, so, but no, it's a very, very great country. I'm very happy with where India is right now.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Modi and what he's done. So we'll see how he continues to build the country up. But it's
Absolutely.
definitely
I'd love to meet
a
you when
very
you come
big
next
growing.
time.
Yeah, absolutely. You're in
I'm in Hyderabad.
remind me again, Hyderabad. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
So, Carrington, what is that last message which you like to give all the audience who are listening? I think mostly will be freelancers or even founders, who might be listening to your podcast. Um, so, what would be the advice which you like to give them?
Yes, I think the best advice for everyone starting now is just start documenting your work. Whatever you're doing, start documenting your work because you will quickly find out whether it's something that you love, the work that you're doing, you'll see it within yourself and you'll start to build your story for the entire world. I think what one thing we're so spoiled to have today is the technology of this, right? So imagine if you could go back and watch your grandfather or your great grandfather's journey and his story and what he did to and we don't have that. We're fortunate enough to have that now so to share with future generations and other people who might be going through the same struggles as us in business, life, personal. Document your process. You'll build the courage in doing that because you'll build your skills, your courage, and the best thing is you'll be building in front of the entire world. So your resume is your journey. Everyone can see, hey, they started with one subscriber on YouTube and 6 views on their first video. And now 10 years from now, there millions of people are watching them and they have shows and they might be in films and different businesses. It's so important to not be scared to show that you are starting from a new journey or building something. So many people are there. I'm not professional. I don't have a good quality. Just share, start. You never
Yeah,
know if you help
man.
one person. If one person hears what you say and it resonates with them, that's worth the time of whatever you spent. So that's
That
my biggest
that's a
advice.
beautiful advice, I will say. And I love, in fact, I like to journal. I love sharing what I have at least in my mind to share, because I feel that at least one person will learn. Someone will get positivity from me. I have got
Yes.
positivity from somebody, and maybe one person will get positivity from me. And that's what a chain can happen. So that
And it
was
is.
something.
It's very infectious too. Good personality and good energy is very infectious. So it's important to share that again because yeah, not everyone is in a good space. Not everyone is positive or happy. You never know what people are going through. So just by being nice, smiling, sharing something, whether it's a tip or a compliment, it can very much help someone. So you're
Amazing,
spot on
beautiful.
with that.
I think you can be a mindset coach also, other than being a video creator. By hearing to you, I really feel that you can be a great mindset coach. But anyways, thank you, Carrington, for being in this show. I loved having conversation with you. I'm sure people who listen to this podcast, they will enjoy this podcast. And I'll have to talk to you further again in future soon. Thank you so much coming to this show. once again.
Thank you, Dimpy. I appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, bye.